Hello students, this is Lohita. Here we are into zoology NEET class. Today we are going to continue to learn more about transcription. Okay, today we are going to start learning about transcription unit and gene. Transcription unit and gene. See students, already we have learnt about some concepts related to transcription unit. A transcription unit consists of three components, right? There are three components in the transcription unit. Those three components of the transcription unit are promoter, structural gene and terminator, right? So these are the three components of the transcription unit: promoter, structural gene and terminator. These are the three components of the transcription unit. So students, what is the enzyme responsible for transcription? The enzyme responsible for transcription is DNA dependent RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA polymerase is the enzyme which is responsible for transcription. Okay. So DNA dependent RNA polymerase is involved in polymerization of RNAs. Okay. So this is the enzyme which is involved in the formation of RNA. So this DNA dependent RNA polymerase has got its name because this enzyme uses DNA strand as a template. This enzyme uses DNA strand as a template for formation of RNA. That is why this enzyme has got its name DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Okay. So utilizing DNA as a template, this enzyme polymerizes RNA. Okay. And you know, this DNA dependent RNA polymerizes RNA in 5 to 3 direction. In 5 to 3 direction, it polymerizes RNA. It polymerizes RNA in 5 to 3 direction. Okay. Because it is polymerizing RNA in 5 to 3 direction. Because it is polymerizing RNA in 5 to 3 direction. So among two strands of DNA, one DNA strand will be running in 3 to 5 direction, one DNA strand in 5 to 3 direction, right? So because the direction of polymerization is 5 to 3, 3 to 5 strand, 3 to 5 polarity DNA strand, 3 to 5 polarity DNA strand will act as a template. It will act as a template. Okay. This 3 to 5 polarity strand of DNA will act as a template for synthesis of RNA. Okay. And the strand of RNA produced from 3 to 5 polarity DNA strand is called, this strand is called as template strand. Okay. And the RNA produced using this template strand will be exactly similar to 5 to 3 DNA strand. It will be, the RNA produced using this strand will be exactly similar to 5 to 3 DNA strand. That is why this 5 to 3 DNA strand is called as coding strand. Okay, 5 to 3 DNA strand is called as coding strand because this RNA is exactly similar to that of the 5 to 3 direction DNA strand. So it is called as a coding strand. Okay. So students, here the only difference between the RNA and this 5 to 3 DNA strand is, in place of thymine, there will be uracil. There is uracil in RNA. In place of thymine, there is uracil. Otherwise, everything is same with that of coding DNA strand and RNA. Everything is same except the thymine. Except thymine. In place of thymine, there is uracil in RNA. Okay. So students, this RNA, they are produced from the DNA, right? So that part of DNA which is involved in producing an RNA is called as gene. Okay, gene. What is our concept? Transcription unit and gene. A transcription unit is consisting of these three components. And we have studied what is the importance of, and we have to study the importance of these three components also, right? So before we learn about genes, we will study about these three components. So students, DNA dependent RNA polymerase will bind with the first this DNA dependent RNA polymerase will first bind with, it will first bind with the promoter. It will first bind with the promoter. Okay. After that, after binding with the promoter, it using structural genes, using structural genes, the enzyme causes polymerization of DNA. Enzyme causes polymerization of DNA. The enzyme is causing polymerization of DNA. Okay. After this reaches the terminator, after the enzyme reaches terminator, after the enzyme reaches terminator, after the enzyme reaches terminator, then the RNA formation stops. RNA formation will stop. Okay. RNA formation will be stopping. So, this is how RNA is produced, students. Okay. So, now let us see what is this gene. Okay. What is this gene? Let us study now. You see, gene is actually the functional unit. Okay. Gene is actually a functional unit. Okay. Gene is actually a functional unit of inheritance. Okay. Gene is actually functional unit of inheritance. Gene is the one which is undergoing transcription, forming a mRNA, forming a RNAs. Okay. From the genes only inheritance of characters is occurring. Okay. Gene is the functional unit of inheritance. Okay. So, from genes only the RNAs are produced. Okay. From genes only RNAs are produced. From genes, okay, from genes which are a part of DNA, which are a part of DNA, RNA are produced. RNA are produced. Okay. Different RNA are produced from the genes. From the genes only by transcription, different RNA are produced. By transcription of genes, by the transcription of genes, different RNA are produced. Different RNA are produced. Okay. So, like for example, rRNA or tRNA or mRNA are also produced. Okay. So, students, particularly these mRNA are involved in the production of proteins. Okay. They are involved in the production of proteins which are nothing but polypeptides. Proteins means polypeptides. So, that particular part of the gene which is involved in producing polypeptides, the genes producing polypeptides, the genes producing polypeptides are called as cistrons. Okay. What are the genes producing polypeptides called? The genes producing polypeptides are called as cistrons. Okay. Genes producing polypeptides are called as cistrons. These cistrons are of two different types. Cistrons are of two types. Okay. The cistrons are of two types. They are, the first type, monocistrons. Okay. Monocistronic genes. The monocistronic genes are those genes which are generally found in eukaryotic genes, which are generally found in eukaryotic genes. Monocistronic genes are eukaryotic genes. From monocistronic genes, only one type of RNA is produced. One type of RNA is produced. Okay. One type of RNA is produced from monocistronic genes. Only one type of RNA will be produced from monocistronic genes. Okay. Which is generally found in eukaryotes. But when you see the other type of cistronic genes, polycistronic genes. Okay, polycistronic genes are found in prokaryotes. Polycistronic genes are found in prokaryotes, and from polycistronic, see, word poly is indicating many. Okay, many RNA, many types of RNA are produced from a single gene. Many RNA are produced from a single gene. Okay. So, this is about monocistronic and polycistronic gene, students. Okay. Once we will revise this concept and we will then learn more. Okay. A gene is a functional unit of inheritance. From genes which are a part of DNA only, RNA will be produced. By transcription of genes, RNA is produced. Okay. Different types of RNAs can be produced by transcription of DNA. rRNA, tRNA, mRNA, these are the types of RNAs that can be produced from the DNA, and mRNA particularly is the one from which proteins or polypeptides can be produced. So, that genes from which polypeptides are produced, the genes producing polypeptides are called as cistrons. The genes producing polypeptides are particularly called as cistrons. Okay. So, cistrons are of two different types, monocistrons and polycistrons. Monocistronic genes, polycistronic genes. Monocistronic genes are actually eukaryotic genes from which mono, see, look at the word mono. Mono is indicating that only one type of RNA is produced from them. Okay. Whereas polycistronic genes are found in prokaryotes, poly is indicating many. From these genes, many types of RNA can be produced. Okay. Let us learn more about these genes. Okay. See, students, generally, you know, primary transcript in the sense, the one which is formed immediately after transcription. After transcription, whatever is formed is called as primary transcript. Whatever is a fresh RNA formed after transcription. Okay. Fresh RNA formed after transcription. Transcription. Okay. So, this primary transcript, the fresh RNA formed after transcription, it is non-functional. Okay. Primary transcript is non-functional. Okay. Primary transcript is non-functional. It is not able to show its effect. Why this primary transcript is non-functional? Because in case of eukaryotes only we observe that primary transcript is non-functional. Only in eukaryotes we observe that the primary transcript is non-functional. Not in case of prokaryote, students. Only in case of eukaryotes the primary transcript is not functional. Primary transcript is not functional only in case of eukaryotes, because the primary transcript contains some non-coding regions, some non-coding regions called as introns. Some non-coding regions called as introns are also present between the coding regions. Some non-coding regions called introns and some coding or expressing regions. That means these are the regions which can be found in the functional mRNA. Okay. Non-coding regions are those regions which are not seen in the functional mRNA. Okay. Whereas coding or expressing regions are those regions of the mRNA which can be seen in the functional regions also. These are called expressing regions, are called as extrons. Okay. Introns and extrons both are present. Okay. So, generally it will appear like this. I will just show you. For example, if this is a primary transcript, this is exon 1. exon 2, exon 3, okay, extron 1, okay, extron 1, extron 2, extron 3, exon, okay, exon 1, exon 2, exon 3. These regions present between them are introns. Introns. Now what should be done is, these introns have to be removed from the RNA. So generally for the mRNA to be made functional, introns are removed and all the extrons will be joined together. Okay, all the extrons, they will be joined together. Exon 1, exon 2, okay, exon 3. In that way all the exons will be joined together to make a functional mRNA. Okay, generally in the RNA, if they are primary transcripts, the RNAs, they are not functional. Okay, the primary transcripts, the fresh RNA are not functional because they contain both non-coding regions and coding regions. Some regions which can be expressed in the fresh mRNA, functional RNA, some regions are not expressed in the functional RNA. So those regions which are not expressed in the functional RNA will disturb the expression of the other genes. Okay, they will be disturbing the expression of the other genes. For that reason, these introns which are non-expressing regions, they are removed, and the exons, you see the expressing regions, they are ligated with each other, forming a functional mRNA. Okay, functional RNAs. In this way functional RNAs are formed. Okay, so the genes, some part of the genes is expressed in the mRNA, some part is not expressed in the mRNA. So according to the requirement of the RNAs, after the transcription of the gene, from the primary transcript, again some processing is done in which introns, which are the non-expressing regions, they are removed. Okay, so this is about the transcription unit and gene. Okay, now we will be learning the next concept. Okay, the next concept that we will be learning is types of RNA and process of transcription. Types of RNA and process of transcription. First, let us learn about the types of RNA. First, let us learn about the types of RNA. Students, there are totally 3 types of RNA. There are totally 3 types of RNA. They are tRNA. We will start with first one. Okay, mRNA, tRNA, rRNA. These are the 3 types of RNAs. First, we will see what is the importance of mRNA. mRNA acts as a template. Okay, mRNA acts as a template for protein synthesis. mRNA acts as a template for protein synthesis. Okay, tRNA brings the amino acids and also reads the genetic code. It also reads the genetic code. Okay, tRNA bring amino acids and they also read the genetic code. tRNA bring amino acids and they read the genetic code. Okay, whereas rRNA acts as is involved in structural and catalytic functions, Okay, in this way all the 3 types of RNAs, mRNA, tRNA and rRNA, all of them are involved in protein synthesis only. All of them are involved in protein synthesis only. Okay, see many different components of our body are proteins. Enzymes are there, hormones are there, many other signaling molecules in our body are proteins. Different functions in our body are occurring because of proteins. So in this way the genes are expressed in the form of proteins to regulate the different body activities. Okay, so students, there are 3 types of mRNAs, 3 types of RNAs, mRNA, tRNA and rRNAs. mRNA acts as a template for protein synthesis. tRNA brings amino acids and reads the genetic code, and rRNA is performing structural and catalytic functions, and in this way these 3 amino acids are involved in protein synthesis. Okay. So, now let us see the process of transcription. Let us now learn about the process of transcription. Okay. Let us learn now about the process of transcription. Okay. So, students, in this process of transcription, you see there is only one enzyme involved in the process of transcription, as I have already told you, right. So, the enzyme involved in the transcription is the DNA dependent RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA polymerase is the enzyme involved in transcription. DNA dependent RNA polymerase is the enzyme involved in transcription. Okay. So, let us see exactly how it is causing transcription. So, DNA dependent RNA polymerase, it will go and bind with the promoter. It will go and bind with the promoter. Okay. After binding with the promoter, somehow this DNA dependent RNA polymerase causes unwinding of DNA, It will bind with the promoter and it causes unwinding of DNA. Then it starts polymerization of RNA. Okay. How is it starting polymerization of RNA? It will bind with the structural genes. Okay. It will be binding with the structural genes and utilizing the template on the structural gene. This RNA polymerase utilizing nucleoside triphosphates, it causes polymerization of RNA. Okay. So, students, this point is very important. Here binding with the promoter is initiation. Okay. Starting of polymerization of RNA is elongation. Okay. Remember these steps. Starting of polymerization of RNA is elongation. So, DNA to the structural genes of DNA, the enzyme is binding, DNA dependent RNA polymerase is binding by utilizing this nucleoside triphosphates. This RNA polymerase is causing polymerization of RNA. Okay, this is causing polymerization of RNA. Okay. So, by polymerization of RNA, it will be still binding with the structural genes and continue to elongate the RNA after reaching the terminator. Okay. Now, when this RNA polymerase reaches the terminator, okay, the DNA is the RNA will be fallen off. The RNA will fall off. Okay. So, along with the RNA polymerase will also fall off. Okay. So, here this is the end of transcription. So, RNA polymerase reaches the terminator and RNA is falling off, then RNA polymerase is also falling off. This step is called as termination. Okay. So, now there are how many steps in transcription? There are 3 steps in transcription: initiation, elongation and termination. Okay. These are the 3 steps in transcription. The first step is the enzyme DNA dependent RNA polymerase will go and bind with the promoter. It is initiation. Binding of enzyme with the promoter is initiation. Okay. So, now it causes unwinding of DNA. Binding with the promoter will cause unwinding of DNA. Now using the structural genes, it is going to start polymerization of RNA. This polymerization of RNA is called as elongation. Okay, followed by initiation there will be elongation, where there will be elongation in the length of RNA. Okay. Using structural genes, nucleoside triphosphates are added to the RNA molecule. The nucleoside triphosphates are used for polymerization of RNA by the enzyme DNA dependent RNA polymerase, and elongation of the RNA is done. Okay. After elongation of the RNA, the next step will be RNA polymerase reaching the terminator. When following the elongation, RNA polymerase will be slowly reaching the terminator, and when it is reaching the terminator we have already studied. This is the place where the transcription will end. This is the place of the gene where transcription will be ending. Now when the RNA polymerase is reaching the terminator, the formed RNA will fall off from the DNA strand. RNA polymerase will also fall off. This step is called termination. Again the two strands of the DNA will undergo complementary base pairing, and the DNA strand will remain double stranded only, and the freshly formed RNA is now formed. Okay, in this way RNA is formed, primary transcript of RNA is formed. Okay, so the very big question is, there are three steps in RNA transcription, right? Transcription of DNA: initiation, elongation and termination. The three steps are catalyzed by the same enzyme. Okay, RNA polymerase is the enzyme which is catalyzing the three steps. It is catalyzing initiation, elongation and termination. How can a single enzyme initiate three steps of transcription: initiation, elongation and termination? Let us learn that now. Okay, how is a single enzyme initiating three different steps? Okay, that is the concept we are going to learn now. Single enzyme, three different steps. How is it possible? We have to learn now. Okay. So students, you know, this RNA polymerase is able to initiate termination. Okay, RNA polymerase causes initiation when it binds with a sigma factor, when it binds with a sigma factor. Okay, RNA polymerase is causing transcription initiation when it is binding with the sigma factor. Okay, when RNA polymerase is associating with sigma factor, it is causing initiation. Okay, in this way it is able to cause initiation by associating with sigma factor. Okay, after that RNA polymerase will leave the sigma factor. Okay, after initiation is done, it will leave the sigma factor. It causes elongation using the structural gene, as a template. It is causing elongation, and after that and also utilizing nucleoside triphosphates. By adding nucleoside triphosphates, it is causing elongation. Okay, and now again after this, after complete elongation, RNA polymerase will be associated with Rho factor. RNA polymerase will be associated with Rho factor. Okay, so when RNA polymerase is associated with Rho factor, it will result in termination. Okay, when it is associated with Rho factor, it will result in termination. Okay, in this way the single enzyme RNA polymerase is able to cause 3 steps. It is able to catalyze 3 steps because it is associating with the sigma factor to cause initiation, and it is associating with the rho factor to initiate termination. In that way single enzyme is able to perform multiple steps. Okay. And now this is how the generally RNA is transcribed. Okay, so from transcription of DNA, any of the 3 types of RNA can be produced. Okay, any of the 3 types of RNA can be produced using the same method of transcription. Whatever the process of transcription we have seen, it is applicable to the transcription of the 3 types of RNAs. Okay, so students, when you come to transcription in eukaryotes, transcription in prokaryotes we'll see first. Transcription in prokaryotes. In case of transcription in prokaryotes are those cells in which there is no distinct nucleus, right? Prokaryotes, there is no distinct nucleus. Right, because there is no distinct nucleus in prokaryotes, because of a lack of distinct nucleus in prokaryotes, in case of prokaryotes, transcription and translation, these 2 steps will occur simultaneously. These 2 steps will occur simultaneously. Even before the RNA is completely transcribed, it will occur simultaneously. There are 2 reasons for transcription and translation to occur simultaneously in prokaryotes. The first reason is no distinct nucleus. No distinct nucleus is present. Okay, there is no distinct nucleus is present in this case, that is transcription and translation are occurring at the same time because there is no distinct nucleus, nothing to separate the nucleus from the ribosomes. Ribosomes are the ones which are involved in translation, right? So translation means formation of proteins from RNAs is translation. So nothing is there to separate nucleus from the ribosomes. So ribosomes will be simultaneously acting on the forming mRNA and they cause translation. Okay, so DNA will be still attached to, I'll just show you how. So this is the template strand and this is the forming RNA. Here on the already formed RNA, ribosomes will be acting and producing protein, the ribosomes will be already acting. Okay, this is one reason, that is no distinct nucleus. Okay, and the second reason is there are no introns in the prokaryotic RNA. There are no introns in the prokaryotic RNA. Prokaryotic RNA does not contain any introns. The entire RNA can be translated. Okay, that is the other reason why translation and transcription are occurring simultaneously. No introns in the prokaryotic DNA. Okay, no introns in the prokaryotic RNA. All the part of the prokaryotic RNA is coding. So that is why no introns. So transcription and translation occurring simultaneously. Okay. Another point about transcription in prokaryotes is, in transcription of prokaryotes, only one RNA polymerase is utilized. Only one RNA polymerase enzyme is utilized. Okay, only one type of RNA polymerase enzyme is utilized in case of transcription in prokaryotes. Okay, so students, RNA polymerase is able to cause initiation, elongation and termination because RNA polymerase is associating with the sigma factor causing initiation. Elongation by binding with structural genes utilizing nucleoside triphosphates, it is causing elongation. Again it is associated with the rho factor causing termination. Okay. Then transcription in prokaryotes, there is prokaryotes are those cells where there is no distinct nucleus, right? So in that way transcription and translation occur simultaneously in case of prokaryotes. Transcription and translation are occurring simultaneously means both are occurring at the same time. How both can occur at the same time? Because there is no distinct nucleus in prokaryotes, because there are no introns in the prokaryotic RNA. So that is why, and that is why both transcription and translation are able to occur at the same time. Okay. And in case of prokaryotes, only one RNA polymerase is utilized. Only one RNA polymerase is utilized in case of prokaryotes. Okay. So this is all about transcription in prokaryotes. When you come to transcription in eukaryotes, transcription in eukaryotes is very complex when compared to prokaryotes. Transcription in eukaryotes is very complex. Okay. So in what terms it is complex? Let us see. Okay. So transcription of eukaryotes requires 3 different types of RNA polymerases. 3 types of RNA polymerases are involved. Okay. So those 3 types of RNA polymerases are RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2, RNA polymerase 3. These are the 3 types of RNA polymerases involved in the transcription of eukaryotic RNA. Okay. So RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 1 is involved in the transcription of rRNA. Okay. This rRNA will be also of different types: 28S, 18S, 5.8S rRNA. All these 3 types of rRNA are transcribed utilizing RNA polymerase 1. rRNA of different types like 28S, 18S, 5.8S rRNA are transcribed utilizing RNA polymerase 1. Okay. RNA polymerase 2 is transcribing heterogenic nuclear RNA, HNRNA. Okay. Heterogenic nuclear RNA. Okay. It is causing transcription of heterogenic nuclear RNA. RNA polymerase 3 is catalyzing the transcription of 5S rRNA. Okay. It is catalyzing the transcription of 5S rRNA and snRNA. snRNA means small nuclear RNA. snRNA means small nuclear RNA. Okay. So, and this is about the 3 types of RNA polymerases. Okay. And RNA polymerase 3 also catalyzes the formation of tRNA. In this way, students, all the 3 different types of mRNA all the 3 different types of RNA are produced from these 3 types of RNA polymerases. RNA polymerase 1 catalyzes the formation of rRNA. RNA polymerase 1 catalyzes the formation of rRNA, that is 28S RNA, 18S rRNA, 5.8S rRNAs. Okay. RNA polymerase 2 is catalyzing the formation of heterogenic nuclear rRNA, simply called hnrRNA. hnRNA is actually, it is non-functional mRNA. It is non-functional mRNA. It is not the completely formed mRNA. Okay. This hnRNA will undergo some processing, form mRNA. It is an immature mRNA. It is undergoing some processing, after that forming mRNA. So from polymerase 2, heterogenic nuclear mRNA is formed, hnRNA is formed. RNA polymerase 3 will catalyze the formation of 5S rRNA, snRNA. snRNA means small nuclear RNA. tRNA. tRNA means transfer RNA. Okay. The students, tRNA means transfer RNA. rRNA means ribosomal RNA. Okay. mRNA means messenger RNA. Okay, in that way these are the 3 types of RNAs formed from the 3 types of polymerases in case of eukaryotes. Okay, so here there are some new words that we have come across here, that is S. Okay, so this word S is indicating sedimentation quotient. Sedimentation quotient. Okay, sedimentation quotient of RNAs. S is indicating sedimentation quotient of RNAs. Okay, and heterogenic nuclear RNA, I told it is an immature non-functional mRNA. snRNA, small nuclear RNA, these are the other types of RNA which are not involved in formation of proteins, but they have some regulatory functions inside the cells. Okay, this is about snRNA. And in tomorrow's class, students, we will be learning about how the processing of this heterogenic nuclear RNA is done, how proteins are produced, all those concepts we will be learning in tomorrow's class. This is all for today, students. We will meet again in the next class tomorrow. We will learn many other new concepts related to molecular basis of inheritance. That's all for today. We will meet again in the next class. Thank you all for joining the class. Thank you all.